أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين صلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Inshallah, we're going to continue with the flashes. We have been studying the 25th flash, message for the sick. And last time we were discussing the 12th remedy. So I think we were halfway in that 12th remedy. So I will start from the 12th remedy and then we can discuss on that. So we are kind of in the middle of the section now of this author's treatise, where he's been really sharing and changing how we look at what sickness and calamities that befall in our journey, human journey, in our existence, different situations that we go through in life, and then recognize where all these changes in our existence, the situations that we go through, how what we're presented with, who is presenting them to us, where do we fit in those situations, and what kind of attitudes we can take under those circumstances and situations. Of course, the real deal comes when we are actually going through the practical side of facing these calamities and these situations and the sicknesses. And it is important to keep in mind, this attitude that we kind of, in our understanding of the theoretical side of things, on how the author is presenting, and really taking that into our being and really benefiting from that teachings, and when we actually practice those things, which I've thought is really important, because it's easy to say, to God do we belong, from him do we come, and to him back to him is our return. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. But practically, do we recognize in any situation that we go through that we are, we belong to him and we are returning back to him. So as the 11th and 12th remedy were kind of hinting at as a summary, that we tend to worry a lot in our lives about things. We get impatient, which the author says that, hey, there's no reason to worry. Worry itself is a sickness. And being impatient is also a sort of sickness. So you need to learn to be patient and not really go distress about something that is not there yet. So anything that is in your past, yes, you have memories of it, but you learn from that. You don't just lose yourselves in that past and just suffer the consequences that maybe you went through in that past experience, or even something in the future which is not there, it's non-existent. Why even worry and talk about that thing and just aggravate your energy on those things? So let's start with the 12th remedy. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. O sick person, who due to illness cannot perform his worship and invocations and feels grief at the deprivation, know that it is stated in a hadith. A pious believer who due to illness cannot perform his customary invocations receives a reward equal to them. A pious believer who due to illness cannot perform his customary invocations receives a reward equal to them. If an ill person performs his obligatory worship as far as it is possible with patience and relying on God, The illness takes the place of Sunna worship during that time of severe illness and in sincere form. Moreover, illness makes the person understand his impotence and weakness. It causes him to offer supplication both verbally and through the tongue of his impotence and weakness. For Almighty God bestowed on man a boundless impotence and infinite weakness, so that he would perpetually seek refuge at the divine court and beseech and supplicate. Almighty God bestowed on man a boundless impotence and infinite weakness, so that he would perpetually seek refuge at the divine court and beseech and supplicate. The verse, say, your sustainer would not concern himself with you if it was not for your prayers. This is from the Quran, chapter 25, verse 77. Say, your sustainer would not concern himself with you if it was not for your prayers. Which has the meaning, what importance would you have if you did not offer prayer and supplication? According to this, sincere prayer and supplication are the reason for man's creation and for his value. Sincere prayer and supplication are the reason for man's creation and for his value. Since illness is one cause of this, from this point of view, it should not be complained about, but thanks be offered to God for it. And the tap of supplication, which illness opens, should not be closed by regaining health. All right, so we did discuss at least the first paragraph last time and what it means, for example, to feel grief at the deprivation when somebody, when you are, the person is ill and cannot perform their obligatory worship, for instance. That's one thing. So, all the conditions in life everybody faces, partly based on our choices, but the choices that the human being makes, but the results are always given existence by the one who is the existence giver of the universe. So the one who makes the universe is really presenting us with different scenarios and opportunities for us so that we may use our free will, our consciousness, our human qualities, our faculties, and realize and get to know who is presenting all those situations to me. So as far as possible, we discussed that as far as it is possible for the individual, so that is based on the conditions that are presented to every individual as much as they can. The responsibility is to recognize who their Lord is and to establish that relationship with their Lord in whatever means and possibility that they can go through. So that was just a recap of the first, but now in the second and paragraph, it's an interesting take. I would say that, we could say maybe what's the wisdom in the illness. And this is one of the wisdoms that the author is sharing with us, that if somebody is going through an illness, goes through the illness and understands, it is to make the person understand that, you are not the owner of yourself, you're not the owner of your body, you're not the owner of your health. So all these things, your health, your body is given to you and there's an owner to it. So it makes one realize that, how needy the individual is. Because when you're in a sick condition, you are looking to get better, right? Nobody wants to stay sick for a long time, but we all look for, to the opportunity, to ask, hey, and look for the means to get better. So in that, going through that experience, it makes you realize, who you are in your condition as a being. If I think about myself right now in this situation, and if I really ponder over my existence, I can understand that, yeah, I am in need of being given existence. I am in need of being given health. I'm in need of being made to breathe air. I'm made in need of eating and, getting nutrition. So all these things tell me what my position is, that I am a needy individual. Everything in creation is in need of their sustainer, their Lord, who gives them existence. So illness makes the person understand his impotence and weakness, and then it causes him to offer supplication. So when I'm sick, it makes me, supplicate. I ask to get better verbally and through the tongue of his impotence and weakness. So this is the part I think we should really understand. I think most of the people who've been joining this discussion understand this part of the how, the tongue of the impotence and weakness that every created being has is something that we can all relate to. So, for Almighty God bestowed on man a boundless impotence and infinite weakness, so that he would perpetually seek refuge at the divine court and beseech and supplicate. Now, a statement is made here that, the way the creation is, the way the situation of man is, his experiences going through life is so that he always establishes a connection with his source of existence, with his Lord, with his Rab. So, and sickness is one of the means, is one of the ways in the human journey that I can at least get back in touch with my source of existence. So there is that, and later on in the paragraph, there's the last sentence, he says, the tap of supplication, which illness opens, should not be closed. I thought that is a good analogy, when you open a tap of water and water comes in. So that you need that mercy just to be continuous. So the perpetual mercy is what the individual is seeking. So the boundless impotence and infinite weakness, so that as a human, I would perpetually seek refuge at the divine court and beseech and supplicate. So I should not be able, so these conditions that I am put in on different occasions is for me, these are opportunities for me to seek refuge at who the owner of this universe is, who is my Lord, who is my the one who's taking care of me, and ask him. So let's study the verse. Say, your sustainer would not concern himself with you if it was not for your prayers. This is from the Quran, chapter 25, verse 77. And the author puts his understanding, which has the meaning that, what importance would you have if you did not offer prayer and supplication? What a great question to think about. What it really is a fundamental question, I would think. Like, why are we here in this world? Would anybody want to share their take on this? Why are we here? What is our purpose in existence? As the author kind of is explaining this verse, I think it is one of the difficult questions that every human being faces, and I think that is what here is some people term it as the human question. Some may say it is the existential question. Right? Really, what is our purpose in existence here? What importance do I have if it was not for prayer and supplication? Is there any other purpose that we have in this universe? Would anybody want to talk on this and maybe share some insights, just so that I can, hear some thoughts? Yeah, feel free to raise your hands. I would love to hear your comment on really how do they understand this question. Brother Ali, please take it away.
Start the conversation. It's a great question, everybody's question. Of course, this question must be asked after how I am in this world. Of course, this is not our subject. The main question, or the first premise question, is not our subject. We assumed that, we understood how I became, or I exist in this world. I am created. Of course, we must take it for granted in order to go into the subject. Otherwise, if I don't know how I exist in this world, especially if I see that I happen to be here, I don't know how, or nature produced me, this kind of interpretation, then the second question is meaningless, because nature has no reason, no wisdom. It happens by itself, and everything is randomly happening. So only for a purpose, only for a person who concludes that I am the product of a conscious absolute being, who is my creator, then this person has the right to ask why I am here, because there must be a reason, because I understood that my existence is coming from a conscious choice. So conscious choice must have a reason. So first of all, we have to understand the degree or the stage of validity of the question. If someone doesn't believe in the creator and that he's created, they ask this question in a silly way. Why are we here? I don't know. Because you are not aware that you are given existence by a conscious being. So you have no right to ask this question. It's not your concern. It shouldn't be your concern, because your source of existence is unconscious nature. Can you ask unconscious things, why did you make me? It's not aware of its own existence either. So we have to bear in mind that this question can be asked only at the second stage of reasoning. So it's a good question now. We understood what we are asking now. It means we say, no, since my creator is a conscious being, he must have created me with a purpose. And I look for the answer, and I look for the reason of my existence. Only then I can search the reason for my existence. Of course, first of all, there is an easy way of answering this question, saying that, oh, my creator told me through the prophet that I created you to worship me. It is a copy-paste claim. Of course, it is there, but I have to be sure that even this news can be confirmed by understanding the reason of my existence in my practical living conditions. So I look at the world. That's my understanding. That's how I comprehend the matter. I look at the world, I say, look, I am interacting with the world and I am doing something, but in fact, I'm not really creating anything. but I feel that I have to do something and I am doing something, but I'm not creating. That puzzles me a lot. Personally, I am not creating, so why do I do it then? Whatever I'm doing. Oh, that's a very puzzling question. Since you are not giving existence to anything, but you or I, myself, keep myself busy with certain actions, although I cannot create anything. I cannot guarantee anything. I don't know what will happen in the future, in the next moment. I cannot get hold on to it. I cannot control the future. What am I doing then? I understand that I am expressing my needs in, in terms of action, in terms of interaction with the universe. That's how it works, for my understanding. I must admit this reality. I cannot claim anything above this. I am just expressing my need, and it is created the moment, the second moment. It means immediately, but I am not creating it. So I must understand that what is the nature of my relationship between me and my interaction, the nature of the interaction of my interaction with the universe. I must understand this. The nature of my interaction with the universe is just expressing my desire, what I want to have. For example, when I am hungry, I eat food, but I cannot create taste. I cannot create the food itself. I cannot create the satisfaction that I feel. I have already been equipped with these qualities, but I eat, I cook, I eat, but the satisfaction is created and my body is fed. By whom? By what? I don't know. That's how my body is made to operate in this way. So my action of eating even is nothing but asking. I want satisfaction. It means this is the way of expressing my needs. It is the way of expressing my begging, if you like. I want satisfaction. Oh, so the way I eat is the expression of my need, my desire, but not my creation. If I understand this, oh, the nature of my relationship with the creation is nothing but performed in the uh, in terms of worship. It means asking, acknowledging that I need it and somebody must create it. Somebody means the one who creates the universe, because the first stage of questioning that we omitted required the acknowledgement of the creator, conscious creator. So I am asking the conscious creator to create, to fulfill my need. This asking process is just supplication. Please give it to me. I want this. As if someone doesn't know how to speak and points out to you that doing some sort of mimics and gests on his face with his hands that he needs water drink, you look at him and you understand that he's thirsty. What you do now, you if you have, of course, if you can, then bring water to him and give it, and he will be pleased. So the purpose of existence of human beings, or my existence, I understand, to supplicate, to make prayer. It means, please give me, please give me. Of course, this needs acknowledgement of the authority who's going to give it, or the agent who's going to give it. So if I know that the universe is a creator, all my interaction with the universe can only be in the form of supplication, that is prayer. So if I don't do that, what am I going to do in this world? Can you imagine? If I don't really supplicate, what am I going to do in this world? Of course, I have to, in order to keep my life continuing. So now the verse says, if you do not worship, it means if you do not pray, if you do not present your supplication to the creator of the universe, which kind of relationship you will have with the creator. So you, if you don't do this, if you just say that I am working, I am getting whatever I want as a result of my work, it means I'm creating the result of my interaction with the universe, then I cut off my relationship with the creator. Creator said, okay, you cut off my relationship, what am I going to do with you? For example, main electric power, main electric power is supplying power. Mostly these are, I don't know, what are they called? This atomic, what they say, nuclear power stations. Nuclear power station has the electric power distributed to until my house, and there is an entrance which is called now, because they make money out of it, electric meter. So let's call it the switch on and off, because God doesn't have a meter so that you will pay money at the end of the month. No. So it is free. But only the switch needs to be turned on. If I turn off my switch, connecting my electric system within me, within my house, it means my body, if I turn it off, the electric power station, nuclear station says, I have nothing to do with you because you cut off your relationship with me. Now I understand that if I am not conscious of my actions as having the nature of prayer, I have no connection with the source of existence. It means source of power station, if you like. So power station says in this verse, if it wasn't for your prayer, what importance I would have as far as the creator is concerned. I cut off my relationship with him. That's what I understood from this beautiful verse. It's a very, very meaningful verse. Of course, the human beings are given the ability to speak, so I must act in the form of consciousness, in the form of supplication consciously, and also as a speaking human being, I may say, oh, my creator, please give me the result. I need it. You created me with the need, and I acknowledge that you are the only source who supply my need. So please supply it. Give it to me. So both ways, my consciousness, my feelings, my tongue, my bodily physical actions must be combined in admitting that, acknowledging that I can do nothing but supplication, prayer in my connection with the Creator. So that as soon as I turn my switch on, all the electric power comes and gets into my body, the house of my body, and my body is enlightened. I know what I am doing now. It becomes, my existence becomes meaningful now. That's what we should understand what supplication is. Supplication, prayer is verbally, physically, consciously, emotionally needs to be performed. Of course, it doesn't mean that we should exclude this prayers, prescribed prayers, through the teachings of Creator's speech and practiced and demonstrated by the prophets. Of course, it should include in it, but fundamentally, existentially, I have to establish this understanding of supplication first and foremost. And then the other is easy to do it. So the text we are going to study, the supplication and the relationship with the supplication and illness. Inshallah, you will continue on this subject. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Ali. That was really good, mashallah. Anybody else who would like to add any comments to this? What Brother Ali shared his understanding of the verse. So the first condition, as Brother Ali was putting it, is to understand that I am made, given existence by a conscious maker. So that has to sit within me first. And I have to be sure, convinced, satisfied that everything that I belong to, an owner, the Lord of the universe, the one somebody has made me, has given me existence. And then the next stage for me is to ask this, hey, what am I here for? What is my purpose in existence? Because now that I understand that I have been given existence, now then I can ask this question. Why am I here in this world? What am I here for? And it should be my question. I think Brother Ali also kind of hinted at that I cannot just copy paste somebody else's question, but it has to be personal within me. I have to be convinced that, really now that I understand that I have an owner, a maker, why has he put me here? For what purpose? And of course, how Brother Ali tied that to, that verbal and supplication, as well as the physical, whatever we are doing in terms of all the activities that we do in our day-to-day, in our living, is nothing but supplication, if we understand that from the, Brother Ali beautifully put it, so I'm just summarizing it, that each and every, like the act of eating, that need, where did that need come from? Realizing that, making sure that, I understand that it has been given to me. The taste, where did it come from? Making that connection again. So if I understand all that is coming from my owner, my source of existence, who is presenting me with this, then that recognition is what my supplication would become. So if I'm walking somewhere and I understand that I'm given this ability to walk, then that walking also becomes a supplication. So that tells me what my position is. I'm kind of asking, I'm begging my Lord to, make me do whatever activity I'm getting involved in physically. So that also becomes my part of supplication, and along with my contemplation and my recognition from how, the customary prayers and all the other invocations. So every act of the human being is nothing but a supplication. Any questions or comments by anyone? So now in this last paragraph, based on how this verse is, that your sustainer would not concern himself with you if it was not for your prayers. Quran chapter 25, verse 77. So it really tells, what that now that I understand I belong to an owner. So what my purpose is always, if I have to keep that connection, that, from the central power station analogy that Brother Ali gave, I have to turn the switch on to keep that connection. And that is what, that is how, by turning the switch on is how I will get, that connection with my Lord. And that turning the switch on is what my supplication is also. So now this illness or sickness, let's try to tie that into all this. How does that become a supplication as well? So illness is also then a form of supplication, because there's also the opportunity for me to turn the switch on and connect with the central power, because that situation that of illness makes me realize who I am and what my needs are and who can fulfill those needs. So since illness is, as I'm reading from the text, since illness is one cause of this. So illness is one cause of making that sincere prayer and supplication, which is actually fulfilling, the purpose of man's creation, and which gives man his value. So now that is like turning that switch on to the central station for the electric power and getting my connection with the source. So illness allows for that. It provides that opportunity. Thus, illness should not be complained about, but thanks needs to be offered. So any situation that I'm in, whatever condition I'm in, actually I have to really turn around my understanding that, hey, this is something that is presented to me, to turn the switch on, and I have to make that into a supplication rather than, just complaining, why has this been given to me? Why am I in this situation? So it's a beautiful way of looking at it, really unique way, I would say, on how the Quran is presenting it, on how you can turn every situation into a form of supplication and really stop complaining and really offering thanks. So anybody would like to make any comments or share their excitement with this? As I thought this was really amazing on how, we get into situations from time to time. This is how the human journey is. And just realizing, and being conscious in that particular situation and reminding ourselves, who do we belong to? Where are we coming from? That we have an owner, and then really asking ourselves as the next step, what is my purpose in going through this life journey here? Okay, and then of course the last sentence is that the tap of supplication which illness opens should not be closed by regaining health. So once I, get healthy again, I start losing that connection. I turn the switch off to the central power, and I become my own kind of mini God, that I am sustaining my life now that I don't need anybody to take care of me. So that is a problem. I think that that's why we have to be conscious at as much as we can, and understand that our creation, what our purpose in creation is, that we belong to the owner of this universe who is taking care of us. And he is the one who is providing me all my needs. So that tap of supplication, which illness opens up, it's a means for me to continue to use that open tap, and keep that switch on, using my human side, using my consciousness, and realizing that he is the one, that the owner, who is treating me well. So I think this is how the 12th remedy kind of wraps up. And Brother Ali, go ahead.
I love the young participants because I ask the most difficult question to them. So can I ask this time my question to Maryam? Is Maryam ready to join my interactive questioning and answering? Maryam? Okay, Maryam either busy or not, technically not open, cannot open her mic, I don't know. But who can answer my question? Very difficult one. Maryam can easily answer it. So no other volunteer to answer?
Any volunteer? It's a beautiful time.
Come on.
Otherwise, I can nominate someone if you want. Asfa, would you like to answer?
Assalamu alaikum, sure.
Okay, since Asifa has read that. Now, Asifa, when it is daytime, do you turn the light off? Turn the light on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you turn the light on when the sunlight comes into your room and everything is light?
I do not.
Oh, yeah, so this is one of the most difficult questions I ask, so don't worry. So what happened? I understand that you are married. Am I
Yes,
right? Or
that is correct.
you don't want to disclose, don't say anything. So
No, I'm fine, no worries.
okay, thank you very much. So one night, it is dark. Now it is dark. You entered your room. You cannot see anything. So I'm just expanding the analogy of this power station. You enter your room. It is dark. What do you want? What do you need? The first thing to use the room. What do
I
you
need the light.
Sorry?
I need the light.
So what do you do for it? You need the light, but what do you do for it?
Did you say it was nighttime when I couldn't see, or it's during daytime?
You entered your room is dark, and you want to do something in the room, you want to take and get something from the room, or you want to stay in the room, but the room is dark. The first thing, as soon as you enter the room and realize that it is dark, what do you do?
I turn on the switch, which I know that will turn on the light.
So that turn on the switch.
Yes.
Now, if it wasn't dark in your room, you entered into your room, you don't turn the switch on. You don't need light, yes?
That's
What
correct.
is important in the analogy, if let's say, I don't know the case, but assuming the general stand, your husband turned the light off from the very main supply. At night, you enter your room, what happens? What do you do?
So I turn on the switch, but the light does not still turn on because the main switch has been off.
The second stage, what do? You go to your
Main switch part where the main box is.
no.
Oops.
No, that's why my project
Tricky.
didn't work. I was going to ask Maryam. So assume that your husband turned the light off and you didn't know that he turned the light off, and you don't know how to switch it on because you cannot make it. This is by definition in order to make the metaphor work. So what you do when the door, the room is dark, and when you turn the switch on, it doesn't give light. What do you do?
Oh, you really put me into thinking that now. I would usually, I know I have instances where I usually have my phone with me, and I would just turn the cell phone's light on to look my way around. Maybe
Sorry?
that's not the answer you're looking for.
No,
Sorry.
the answer is you ask your husband to turn the switch on, main switch on, so that you will have your light in your room. Correct? This is the example.
Okay, sure.
Now, but we know that physically you can turn the switch on, main switch on, but in order to understand the case, the example is you cannot do it, you ask somebody else to do it who can do it. So that is exactly the same thing when we are interacting with the universe. And if I am healthy, I don't ask, this is an example, I don't ask I don't need to turn the light on. I am okay. It seems to be everything okay as far as my health is concerned. Now, after that, when I lose my health, it means I become sick. It means I entered my room, it is dark. I cannot turn the light on from the main switch because I cannot do it. It means I cannot create my health. What do I do now? Whoever can create health, I go and beseech him. Please connect the health wire or switch on. And connect the health wire into my house. So what this beautiful example given in the text that illness is one of the cause of supplication. It's one of the causes. There are many other. When you are hungry, you go to the kitchen, etc. So you ask somebody to prepare the food. We ask somebody to create the food and feed me and make it or turn it into a nutrition so that it will satisfy my need of my body. So of course, we are not taking into account that my consciousness also needs to realize who is providing it, and my consciousness needs to be satisfied as well. But to make the example as simple as possible, let's talk about only the satisfaction of the body. So I need to ask. If I am not hungry, I don't ask for food. When I'm hungry, I ask. If the room is light, I don't turn the light on. But when only I turn the light on when I feel that I need it. So when I feel that I need health, I say, who's going to turn on the line of or switch of health. Who can do it in the world? Who can create health? Who can create health? Of course, there are means, but they are not creators, they are just means. So who can give create the means in order to give me health? Only the one who creates the universe. So darkness is the cause of supplication. Illness is the cause of supplication. This example makes it clear for me. How about this one? Is strange. The top of supplication, which illness opens, should not be closed by regaining health. It means, now we can go back to the example of this dark room. You realize that it is dark. You turn it on, and the electric power didn't come, and it wasn't light. You ask your husband, and whoever can do it, and give me the light, and he turned on the switch, on the main switch, so your room is light now. Okay, your room is lit now. It's all right. All right. That's what we understand. But when it is daytime, am I expected to ignore that I need light? Yeah. I cannot provide light by myself. So when it is daytime, if I realize that main switch is off, what am I supposed to do? I have to remember that, oh, I need light. I need light. Maybe not now, but later on as well. So when health comes back, it means when I recover, still I have to acknowledge that health, I need health, and it needs to be given to me, but it must be given by someone who can really give it. It means when I am healthy, I will say now, you are the one who is providing health for me. I have to acknowledge it. Even I'm not ill, so that when the illness is recovered, that the illness is away from me now, still I have to keep in mind that the already practiced health is also given to me by the one who gave me health after my illness, after my sickness. So this consciousness must be always awakened. So as soon as I receive the health, I should not ignore the acknowledgement of the source of existence of health. So that seeing that I don't need it, it is already there. That is what the text says as far as I understand. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Ali and Asifa, for that interactive discussion and example. Beautiful analogies that were used. So can we fit that analogy with also what is the value of the human being in the middle of that last part of the sentence? According to this, sincere prayer and supplications are the reason for man's creation and for his value. Yeah, would anybody want to talk about how that value would come for a human being? Let's hear from someone. Mariam, if you're back, would you know, like, how does a human being get his value? All right, nobody would like to share anything. Okay, let's try to go. So the way I understand, and pardon me, you guys can help me and add whatever comes to your mind. But the way the connection in the analogy to the central station and that recognition that I have to keep even during the daylight, as Brother Ali's example was showing that, okay, somebody turned off the power in the central station, in this, the central box of the house, electric box, and the room is no longer getting the light, but I need the light on in the room. So I will ask that person again to open that light because I need that light. So I realize that I need the light. And when it's daytime, even though I am not turning the switch on, but I recognize that I need the light. So that was the analogy that was used. And in terms of the supplication, which should not be closed by regaining health. And so in my recognition of this being, of this, who the owner is, what the central station represents for me, and how I relate to that central station is where my value entails. So the more I recognize and keep that connection alive, that gives me a purpose. And that is what brings me value, that I recognize that I belong to that source of existence, that central power station. And Suhail has a comment: prayer and supplication is recognition of human neediness. Value is in this recognition. Thank you, Suhail, for summarizing that. Would you like to speak to that?
Assalamu alaikum. There really, wasn't much to add there, other than it's interesting. Value comes from the opposite. You would think self-sufficiency gives one value, but it's actually the opposite. It's neediness that's valuable. Self-sufficiency is not, or the appearance or perception of self-sufficiency. That has no value for man. Primarily because there's no connection or there's no recognition. So even if you view yourself as self-sufficient, anything that happens in life really has no value to you. It's just sort of meaningless at the end of the day. Just all random happenings or chance events.
Thank you, Suhail. Anybody else would like to share anything? Brother Ali, please go.
The people prefer to listen. I think they are reflecting on the subject. I love extremely simple examples. It makes me understand the matter. I don't like complicated examples and philosophical discussions. Anyways, but that is my way. If I make a mission to perform some functions, but if I give the machine the free will, the choice, whether it itself will decide whether it will work or not. So machine is perfectly done. Let's say it's just an example. It's an analogy. So, analogies are just for the sake of getting the result, getting to the point, reaching the point. So the machine has a free will. I gave it and I said, okay, go ahead. If the machine chooses not to function, turn itself off, let's say. Now, do you think as far as the machine's capacity is concerned, when it is not functioning, does it have any value of being a machine? Basim says no. I say no. Now, does it have any value in my eye as the maker of the machine? It's not functioning. It decides not to function it. Do you think I will appreciate this machine when it doesn't function? No. The real function of human being is letting his or her capacity or potentiality work in the way for the purpose of they are made. That's why I am made to acknowledge my supplication, my position always in all directions, physical actions, thinking, emotional connections, or understanding the consciousness of what I am doing, and also my tongue expressions, verbal expressions, all of them. If I turn them off, not to acknowledge that I am supplicating to the Creator, but divert the subject, saying that I am doing by myself. I have a free will. I can choose this one and that one, but I'm free. I can do it. And if I choose to do something, I am the one who is really giving existence to it. So supplication is not functioning. My reality, my purpose of existence is not functioning. I understand that, as Suhail said it, I wanted to give an example to it, simple example, analogy, to understand the matter clearly. If I don't supplicate, means if I don't let my purpose of existence function, it means if I don't act in the right way that the human being is expected to act, if I use my human qualities, if I don't use my human qualities, I am not functioning as a human being. Don't misunderstood or don't be misled. I am functioning as an animate being. Just don't think that my function as an animate being is the fulfillment of my purpose. My purpose in my existence is only as far as my human side is concerned. Otherwise, the animal side, every animal does the same thing. So I do it, but it is not what is expected of me, because as a human being, I have to use my all human qualities in the way that they are created for the purpose of their existence. For the purpose of their existence. Human side of, the purpose of my human side is to acknowledge the truth and recognize it and confirm it through all your human faculties. All your human faculties means practice the supplication, practice the prayer. If I don't do this, my body lives in this world as a living being, but my humanity is not functioning because I have chosen not to function. Which kind of value I should have? Human value. Which kind of value that my Creator will attach me or give me? Which kind of value I will have in the eye of my Creator? Because my human side is completely shut off. It's an example, of course. No one's human side is completely shut off, but black and white example. So no human side is functioning in the way that they are created. completely dysfunction. Then when all human side is functioning, it is fully valuable being. Now, it reminds me what very interesting things, although it is not within the content of this subject, but it's very interesting. If the machine is not working at all, and or let's go back to the power station. If power station is working, I turned off my main switch, and the next door neighbor turned off his or her main switch. Then everybody in the city turns off their main switch, and power supply center is not given any power, supplying any power to anybody in the city. What do you think this power station is going to do? I mean, what do you think?
Take away all the connections, give it to somebody else.
Oh, but there is no somebody else. Everybody.
Everybody.
No.
Okay.
So the power station says, no, there is no production of power anymore because no one is utilizing it. No one is using it. What does it remind you, this? Turning off the production completely. What does it mean? Does it remind you something, anyone? This analogy. Come to the universe, no one on earth. Death is individuals.
Doomsday.
Sorry?
Doomsday.
Doomsday, it means universe is not needed to exist anymore. It is a beautiful narration from the sayings of the messenger of God. Says, when there's no one believing in God, it is connecting to the main station, then, only then, the doomsday will be executed. This universe will be destroyed and turned into another kind of creation. That is the reason for, in Quranic language, qiyamah, yawm al-qiyamah. So that is the reason for the doomsday. If somebody benefits from the supply, so the supplying power station continues to work. That is very interesting. As far as I am concerned, when my human side does not function, that is my doomsday, as far as I am concerned. If everybody is like this, that is the real doomsday of the power station, the universe. I think through this analogy, I understand that this beautiful saying, very deep, meaningful saying of the prophet is really true, correct. When no one is connected to the creator through using the universe, there is no need to create the universe anymore because it's not used. So the value depends on the people's utilizing it. It means performing their function or their duty. It means what they are expected to do. Performing the function of their human side so that the universe will continue to exist at the individual level, so that my body will have its value to live in this world. It is worth it now. As far as I am connected to the main station, as far as I am connected to my creator through my conscious supplication. Conscious supplication is the value of the source of humanity. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Brother Lee. A lot to think about on that, mashallah. Okay, so Brother Adam has a question. According to this, what does suicide mean then? Before we go to that question, I was thinking also about, the situation of this COVID-19. And they're saying, for example, a lot of the, things in the cities and the towns, businesses are having some different they're going through some situations where people may not be going, let's say, to sporting events or, that crowd where there's a lot of crowd, or, in concerts. And so it's putting like a kind of a reset into the human beings. And I kind of, when Brother Ali was talking about it, I kind of was thinking about that as well, and how the purpose of many of the things, just like, for example, if people stop going to one thing, then that purpose is no longer there, and that's the doomsday of that particular business. And in terms of our existence, it just fits in perfectly that, if nothing in creation is fulfilling the purpose of their existence, then what is the purpose of that universe and the beings themselves? So that is what doomsday would be. Now, going to Brother Adam. Brother Adam, would you like to rephrase this question, how that fits into this discussion?
Yeah, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Just adding on to, to what's being said. In fact, what you just said is actually interesting. Even the notion of illness, which is what we're discussing, is given for a purpose. And also, if health is then not being used as a means of connecting to the power source, then it should also be, in a sense, taken away according to the same principle, so that there will be more concern for it and more value for it and appreciation for it. But the point about the doomsday, my own personal doomsday comes through my own not connecting to the power source. So I was just thinking about this also, from my human doomsday, my human death and doomsday, and the whole world will be replaced. But we see that also there's it's not common, but sometimes we hear suicide is going on. And I'm wondering what its connection is in this analogy, or is there a correlation between someone having their own personal doomsday and them, let's say, not feeling as though they should live anymore, or something like this? I'm just adding to this discussion. It just came as we were listening, it just came to my mind. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And my first thought was, the personal doomsday, as if a person who has these thoughts of suicide doesn't see any meaning anymore, and which is why, or does not see any trust or any relation to that they are, being given existence, as they're being taken care of. So there's no such understanding. It's just that there is a meaningless purpose of the universe, and whatever their existence or the existence has no meaning to it. So of course, if there is no purpose and meaning, so what is, that is the individual doomsday for it. But if anybody else wants to comment on what Adam was saying, you can raise your hand and talk to it. But I think it goes again to the purpose. And of course, that's an individual choice on how, if one utilizes their purpose, utilizes their senses, their feelings, their tools in recognizing where they're coming from, their reasoning. And also it could be, maybe a lack of or something that, I'm not sure how the individual cases are, but that the way in the conditions that human beings are, in that conditions, one has to take care of and realize within the means that they're in, whatever they have, that's the, whatever the tools and the senses that they have, use them to the best of their abilities to get the purpose and meaning to their existence, and turning that, switch on in the analogy to the one who they deem their source of existence to be that source. And then of course one has to work on how much they understand that, how much power, how much knowledge, will, mercy that central power station has. So then that is something that, everybody has to build and function accordingly to their being. Yeah, so anybody, Brother Ali, please go ahead.
No one is speaking, so I would just share what reminded me. Adam's question. Unfortunately, what we see in the world going on, those people who study suicide, mostly they reduced human beings to body and life. So they ignore the spirit side of human beings. So they describe this suicide in terms of the relationship between body and life, which is not absolutely wrong, not totally wrong, it's correct. So suicide means ending the body, ending life, preferring to end or choosing to end the life to come and be connected with the body. But before this, what is more important, also they talk about human emotions, human feelings, and they feel valueless, but they feel valueless as far as the relationship between human beings and the universe is concerned, or the society is concerned. That is why those people who have the connection with the Creator, acknowledging that their purpose of existence is related to the wisdom of the Creator, or they by definition, they cannot commit suicide. Not because it is prohibited in religion, no, because they cannot commit suicide because they know that their being, their life, everything belongs to Him. They may be dismayed by certain type of creations, but they turn to the Creator, acknowledge that, please, I need, and turn to the Creator and confess that I need this one, please provide it for me, rather than committing suicide. Now, who commits suicide? Only those people, by definition, who have no connection with God. Or they may say the universe is a creator, but the creator doesn't listen to me. It means they cut off their relationship. For example, power station is not giving me the power because his switch is off. He turned it off. So what we should be concerned most is our, if you like, simple phrase I'm going to use, spiritual suicide, which means killing my human abilities so that they cannot function anymore, or certain partial suicide, I call them, some of my human side is not connected to the creator. It means it is dead. It is not functioning. It has no value. What we do usually, although people don't talk about it, it is the state policy that the suicide is everywhere and very common, especially attempting suicide. Oh, you cannot number it. You cannot number it. So many, especially in the secular societies. So even I hear that in the UK, I think they introduced a minister or a state representative, or what did they say? State something, state minister. In the USA, they say something. I don't know the title. It's a suicide minister. Let's call it suicide minister. So what it means, it is a very, very common practice. But of course, we should be concerned with it. But what we don't have in the world that which manages or helps people from committing spiritual suicide. It means not letting my human side function properly and partially killing them, preferring to kill them, choosing to kill them. So at the end, of course, as an example, I become dead as far as my human side is concerned as a result of my choice, not as a result of my creator. That is a completely different matter. So as a result of my choice, I make suicide a lot by dysfunctioning myself. That's what we have to be aware of. So this suicide is when the human being sees that his human side is completely useless. Now, before God destroys the universe, and as a result of his order of the universe, I may choose to obey the order of the universe in a way that it gives me death. Did I make it clear? In a way that it results in death. It means death is created. I can choose it. For example, I can cut the tree and the death of the tree is created. I can cut, but I have to obey the order. I obey certain order in such a way I kill myself. It means I choose not to be alive anymore because of my feeling total valueless. If whole universe doesn't function for the purpose they are created, the creator of the universe chooses to give an end to its existence. That's called doomsday. But of course, creator decides it. In human suicide, we decide to choose the option provided for us in the order of the universe. So I can understand that it's something to do with value again, human value. If I lose my human value, then I see no point in living in this world anymore, because I see no value in my existence. So I choose to obey the order of the universe, the option in the order of the universe, so that will give the end, which is death, is going to be created for me. Of course, the man may think that he killed himself.
Thank you, Brother Lee, for the comments. There's a comment in the chat. Would you like to read it, Shema? What you're asking? Okay, if not, I can read it. Can we briefly summarize suicide, such as a result of the accumulation of all misconception from the source of all events and experiences in life? Yeah, that's part of it. And I think Brother Ali kind of touched upon that as well. Brother Ali, would you like to add anything? I saw your mic on, so yeah, I think that is, what is that? The disconnection, yeah. Yeah, there's no connection, and also the value is just seen maybe in the body, and no relation to, you know, the human side and the purpose and connection with your source of existence. I think that's clear, inshallah. Yeah, so we are at time, inshallah. And Adam, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. When you were saying about connection, I was thinking somebody's or Brother Ali's connection went away, but it's not that. I mean, not, of course, I'm talking about the internet connection. You may always keep our connections always there, but the real connection I'm saying, but so I thought he was trying to say something more. Is that true or not? And yeah, let me put my hand up.
No, yeah, no, I was talking about the connection with your source of existence. Yes. What was your last question? I didn't hear that clearly. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I thought he lost his internet connection. That's what it sounded like he stopped abruptly.
No.
That's why I'm asking if he has anything more to say. If not, I would just ask this: if I lose my human value statement that was made, I think we all know what human value is, but maybe related to Shema's question also, can he also just explain maybe a little more how someone can lose their human value, unless it's been already said before? Then I don't want to make it redundant.
All right, that is specific to Brother Ali. If you would like to add anything, Brother Ali.
Quickly, if I understood rightly what Adam is asking, if it's a question, it is up to us. It is up to us whether we disconnect ourselves or not. We are given the free will. So if I think that I have no value in living anymore, then it opens up the way of suicide. I don't think I answered the question because I didn't see the really what the question included in. So I'm sorry.
Would you like me to restate the question, or you think it's already been addressed?
Please go ahead to restate the question. Let me see what exactly you mean.
So you a few minutes ago were describing about seeing one's human side as being completely useless. So before the whole world is destroyed, I may choose to follow the order within the world and choose my own death, or not I am choosing it, but it's following the order so that it's created. So, and choosing it, meaning I use my free will to choose it, but he creates that. So, but I'm saying the human side, this human side, I'm zooming in on it, and human value. If I lose my human value, can you share what is going maybe a little bit deeper into this human value issue and human side being completely useless?
briefly disconnecting, as Shema said, disconnecting my human side from its source of existence. So not acknowledging the source of existence and seeing or thinking that I can accomplish the needs of my humanity. And when I realize that I cannot accomplish it, but if I don't acknowledge the source of existence, what I do, since I cannot accomplish anything at all, I have no value in living in this world, so choose the means of death within the order of the universe. That is suicide.
Yeah, Adam, you can keep your mic open if you want.
Sorry about that. No, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I think we're on time right now. So if there's any final comment, Adam, your hand is still up. If you would like to say something, please go ahead. Otherwise, inshallah, we'll conclude here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Al-Fatiha. Wow, thank you, everyone.
Before turning off the recording, there's something written by Hamim in the chat box.
Yeah, so let's read that from Hamim. Losing human value has to do with not recognizing the purpose of my existence. That is, I am created to use my abilities to get to know the source of my existence, the creator of the universe. Yeah, I think that is a very good summary of, losing human value has to do with not recognizing the purpose of my existence, which is that I'm created to use my abilities to get to know the source of my existence and recognize the creator of the universe. So establish that connection with the creator of the universe, or the source of existence of myself in the universe. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, thank you. Inshallah, thank you, everyone.